Hello and welcome to Time Troopers. Today we're going to be looking at Mission 4.1, Gold Diggers. As always, you should read the mission info text, which will tell you about the story. However, from Mission 4.1, things seem to get a bit more strategical and a bit tougher, but don't worry, we're here to explain things. To start with, you'll see this bold text, which says you must choose to set aside 2 troopers with comms, intel or support as their class for this mission. So when we set up our deck, we will have to choose which 2 troopers we leave behind. So let's do that first. We'll take our trooper deck, and we will take Ingrid and Devadu. Both have a class of intel. These might be cards we've unlocked along the way. You could leave behind another support character. For this demonstration, we're going to take these 2 characters and we're just going to set them aside out of the game and put our trooper deck on that slot. Whilst we're here, we'll also get out our time dial, our tokens, and have a quick look at what cards and dice we're going to need. So we're going to need the gold dice for this mission. So let's take out the timeline dice and this gold dice, set that to one side. And we're going to need the deck C1 to C4, X1 to X6, and Y1 and Z1. So let's go ahead and get those cards out from the Aztec deck. Separate them, the cards we need from the cards we don't need. The cards we don't need, we will place back in the box, and we'll set that box to one side for now. So now, as always, we'll look at how this is laid out and set our cards out. So we have Y1, C2, and C1. Let's grab those cards. There's Y1, C1, and C2. And we also have the rest of the deck here. So we've laid that out, how it's laid out here. Now let's read the special instructions. So success for this mission: have 5 gold pieces in the deployment zone and defeat Montezuma II. We will fail if 3 troopers are defeated. Special rules: terrain card Y1, which is this one. Place card Y1 in play clearing side up. So you'll see it has 2 sides, jungle and clearing. You get different advantages or disadvantages depending on which way it is. So we start with it clearing side up. When instructed to do so, flip the card. Jungle, terrain and clearing will give advantage to some cards. So that's important to note, always the condition of where that jungle card is, whether it's clearing or jungle. Montezuma II also has some special rules. When he's in play, you can only have a maximum of 5 time troopers in the combat zone. That's quite important to know because obviously it restricts the number of troopers you can have in there. And the final special rule is about gold. We need to find the 5 pieces of gold in the local deck and obtain them by rolling the right timeline dice. So what does that actually mean? Well, if we were to set up the game as normal, we would shuffle this deck and place it here. And then at the end of every round, we're going to turn over 3 cards. So let's pretend one of these cards was gold. In order to obtain the 5 gold cards, what we would need to do is roll the number that corresponds to where it is in the timeline to add it to our deployment zone. However, you will see on this card can only be placed in a timeline phase if the terrain card is jungle side up. If not, discard it and draw another card. So this is currently clearing side up. So we need to flip this card. And that happens through special events or through defeating characters. So in this instance, that card would get discarded and a new one would come out. So we would now have to wait for this whole deck to be discarded so the gold card could come back round. So it's important to register 2 things here for your strategy. Try and keep this jungle side up, and when the gold does come in here, make sure you've saved enough resources on your time dial so that you can re-roll. Also think about the troopers you put into play, since you're restricted to just 5. There's a lot of strategy going on in this level, but we'll show you up to it. So good luck!